So we about to be making our first reaction video, bro. Man, let's get it, bro. I told y'all, man. I seen 6 minutes of this yesterday, so I wanted to make sure I make it today, so I would forget some stuff just like y'all probably would have. So we can basically have a fresh start on it, man. Let's go, bro. This dude, I'm just excited. Let's see what's going on.
I was at Blizzard Entertainment for about almost 19 years, 18 years, 11 months.
I was at Blizzard, bro.
I had the opportunity to work on some amazing games, right? I got a chance to work on World of Warcraft, the best MMOs out there. And then after that, I moved over to Overwatch.
Which a lot of people like.
But I never really intended to leave Blizzard until I got contacted on LinkedIn, actually, by one of the recruiters. And it was really funny because he says, "Hey, where do you want to?
Senior producer now, bro.
Are you interested in this job? We have an opening." I go, "Well, tell me where am I going to go? What is it?" I'm like, "Well, it's EA." I'm like, "Okay, well, where? Tiburon? Okay, they have sports games in Tiburon.
Yeah.
What game? Madden, NFL football." I was like, "Oh my God, let's talk. Let's talk." Because I mean, for me, growing up, I've grown up with Madden, right?
Sure. We all have
seen Madden, as a coach, right? Calling first coaching and then calling games. I mean, and he's an icon.
We've seen the good and the bad.
Has now reached that state where it's iconic. And I always said to myself, man, if I ever get the opportunity to work on Madden or work on Star Wars, I'll seriously consider leaving Blizzard, because that's it. At some point in your career, it's like it has to be the game. It's not about anything else. It's about the game and what you're going to be doing and what we're working on. So it happened, and when I got the interview, I told my wife, "Get ready to move to Florida." I go, because
Orlando,
things are going well, and it looks like I want to get this. So are you okay with it? Let me know now, but I really want to do this. And then moved.
So you named some major games that you've worked on in your career. What can you take from Blizzard that you think you can apply here at EA Sports?
A lot of it is there's a couple of big fundamental things that I think are very important, right? One of them is commitment to quality, right? Making sure that whatever you deliver is of the highest quality possible given the time that you have.
Pause. Already, bro. This dude said he ready to deliver the highest quality, bro. I mean, just the first word of what he said he want to do to the game. But I know, trust me, it's annoying. I hate when people pause like in reactions, but I want to make sure that that's a good point right there already.
The other big thing is, just gameplay first. Core fundamental gameplay has to be good. The game has to be fun at its core before you start adding anything else.
Yes.
You'll see that in a lot of the Blizzard titles, right? And I think and I know that I want to bring that back to EA. Make sure that we,
hold on. The dude said he want to bring it back to EA, meaning that they don't have it now, bro. The gameplay is straight garbage. The presentation, all that is good. The dude said he wants to bring gameplay back, meaning the junk has been irrelevant, bro. It has been deleted, bro. Some Matt Hardy type stuff, but let's go, man.
Look at all of the gameplay functionality, make sure that we're evaluating mechanics, we're evaluating defense, offense, and making sure that it works. And that when we implement a mechanic or we're looking at a mode or different functionality, that we're really evaluating it based off of what the overall impact is going to be to the game. Not for a specific set of people, but for more holistically the game.
Yes, everybody,
benefit the people that play our game, and not just a specific subset. Or being very reactionary about it, right?
Sure.
Really giving thought.
You mentioned being reactionary. That's been something that over the last couple of years, I think Madden players have grown to see a lot of patching, title updates. What is your philosophy on title updates in general, and how would you go about?
So I think title updates are valuable. It's part of the live service strategy. Your game is an experience and it's always living, right? So you're going to want to update it, but you have to be very careful about how you do it.
Yes.
There are people who are very passionate about your game who have a specific asks, throughout the community. You need to evaluate those and take those seriously, but you also need to evaluate those against the needs of other people who are playing. Like, take for example, we have franchise mode, we have an ultimate team mode, we have people that just enjoy playing now, right? And all of them have different asks and things that they want, but you have to take all of that input, balance it out with telemetry data that you get, and then look at what you want to do as a designer. Like, how do you want to influence the game and affect the game, and then make your decision on what you want to update, what bugs you want to fix, and how you do that. Because sometimes if you're too reactionary and you react too quickly, you don't really let anything soak. Sometimes you might put a feature in and you're like, so let's sit for a little bit. Let's see how it works. Because sometimes people might go, oh my God, this is the worst thing on the planet. I can't believe you did that. And if you pull the trigger too quickly, you've never let it have time to breathe.
Sure.
And kind of actually see, hey, what's actually, is it fundamentally broken, or is it something that we can iterate on and make better?
Broken.
Because at the core, it's good.
You mentioned that you have to weigh and balance the needs of different subsets of the community. Your position in the past hasn't been generally public facing.
Right.
What is your philosophy on communication and your team's communication with the community going forward?
Well, I mean, that's one of the things that I think, in my past life we did really well, right? So being able to be very transparent with the community, putting together a PTR where we're pushing, what's going to be coming so that people can play it and have an opinion on it and we can iterate on it. Using our community team, right? I mean, as a conduit to the community. All of that is important, right? It's not necessarily having to be out there on Twitter and responding. It's more of like, okay, holistically as a whole, how do we want to approach community and how can we be more transparent, right? So you'll see things like dev diaries where you'll have, different people within the team, talking about a cool feature.
Yes,
we have
thank
a lot
you,
of people
bro.
here that are so passionate about the game, and they're so.
Yes, bro. We don't want to see blogs that lie about the game, bro, and that you could possibly get sued for false advertisement. We want the freaking developers, when they're developing something, to talk about something that's upcoming. Now, oh yeah, guys, this is what we're trying to do. This is what it's going to do. Not, you know what I'm saying? They put something in the future like, oh, this is what we're working on. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is what our idea is. This is what it's going to do. Instead of having the idea and actually it doing what you said it's going to do. Thank you, bro. Let's go, man.
Excited to be able to just, talk about the cool thing that they worked on, right? And I think that it's important to humanize the developers, right? Our guys are people, right? People. And they're passionate about this game, and they're passionate about what they make. Let's show that passion to the community.
Yes.
And in the same way, let's be transparent. Like if we push out a patch and it's got something that breaks,
yes.
Okay, let's talk about, hey, yeah, it's broken. We know it is. We're working on it, and we'll give you another update when we get closer to fixing it. Or here's what's.
Bro, that's all I wanted them to do, bro. Stop trying to defend the game, saying, "Oh, bro, it's not broken. You just got to get better at the game." This dude is the new senior producer, bro. The dude is literally speaking facts. They put out patches and it literally break the game. Don't freaking defend your patch, bro, because y'all the one that broke it. That's why I like this guy. If the game sucks, say, yo, guys, we made a mistake, bro. Don't try to, you know what I'm saying? I understand as a, you know what I'm saying? You can't have too much pride, bro. And you can't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like, oh, guys, do something about it, bro. Say that y'all effed up and do something about it, man. This dude already, bro, has just made me excited about Madden 19. The dude can be like some dude, you know what I'm saying? But I like this guy's energy, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's a good feeling about this dude, bro. I hope he actually, and I think he has something to do with those golden tickets that came out. And, well, not the golden tickets themselves. I don't think he had nothing to do with that. But the fact that they had to update it a little bit, I think he has something to do with that, bro. Because the community feedback. I like this guy already, but let's go.
What's wrong? We'll be transparent and let you know exactly what happened, and we'll let you know when we're going to get that fixed. Because I think that's what one of the things that is missing sometimes is in the when you hurry up to try to fix an issue, sometimes you're just focused on that, and you don't focus on the fact that, hey, there's people out there that are kind of waiting for something. Please tell me. People are very understanding. The community is very understanding if you're very
we're not
transparent
stupid
about what the issue is and how long it's going to take you to fix.
You've been at EA actually for a year now. I think a lot of people don't know that. What have you learned in your first year? And based on what you learned, what do you want to see change in Madden going forward?
What have I learned? It's been 9 months.
Quite
been a year. But the thing that I appreciate about EA is what the team is able to accomplish in a yearly cycle, right? I mean, an iterative product is very hard, right? And it's challenging to be able to have the time to be creative and iterate on a product that's going out every single year. You have to make sure that you deliver something for the community.
A lot of people don't like that.
And the team has done a good job at doing that, but I think we can improve on that, right? Being able to start our creative process earlier, giving our developers, our designers enough time to be able to do that, evaluating the people that we currently have, and if we need to supplement those with additional people from the game industry who are pros and know how to design games, right? I think a good mix of people who love football and understand football, and people who love games and understand games.
All right, another pause, bro. This video gonna be long as freak, but he basically just said, bro. Y'all already know. They want to make sure that people develop the game right, bro. Meaning, if they don't have time to do it, if it's a small program, it's a small group, you know what I'm saying? They want to bring more people in so they can actually get stuff done. They a $23 billion company, bro. They got all the money in the world, basically. If y'all have one team on mobile who's, I heard, is doing a great job over there, in a game that's on console, that's where it started at, then why the heck are they team doing better than the people on console? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just dumb to me. So, like he said, bro, bring in some people that actually know what the heck they doing, bro. Hey, bring back EA Sports Big, the people that brought NFL Street, bro, even though Turbine helped it. But EA Sports Big made some great games, NBA Street, all of that, bro. Let's go.
Will give us the highest quality, best game that we could possibly deliver.
Yes.
What is your long-term vision for the franchise? Where do you want to be in 3 to 5 years? We just talked about what changes you'd like to see going forward, but where do you actually see the title in 5 years?
That's a really good question. I think it's one of the things that I'm working on with the team is establishing what that actual vision is, right? Because I think in order for a game to really understand at its core what it is, from design pillars to the overarching vision, we need to actually define that. And that's something that we're working on right now, because the team has been in a very reactionary sort of mode. So it's kind of like, okay, very tactical. Let's here are these things we want to take care of. Here are the community issues we want to fix, and we really haven't defined out what is our vision. Where do we want to go with it? And,
exactly,
and that's something
bro.
That
they don't know what they're doing right now. So
because it's not about me. It's not about Carlos Guerrero's NFL Madden. It's about the team, right? And the team needs to come together and come up with that vision. So once we define that, I'll be able to let you know what that is.
Okay. Something that, as a competitive player myself, or with a competitive background, my community would be pretty upset if I didn't put the pressure on you. What type of role or cooperation do you have with MCS?
Yeah, I think that again, with my background, with Overwatch League and a lot of the competitive gaming is an extremely important part of the game itself, and I think the people that are in that space are extremely passionate. The challenge, and I'm going to be totally upfront with you, is balancing out the needs of this group versus the needs of the entirety of
casual
the player base. Right? We have almost 6 million, 7 million players that play our game, and they all play for different reasons, right? So for me, it's a very close relationship with Matt, who is the commissioner for Madden, trying to figure out, okay, what are the feature sets that we want to put in that are going to benefit competitive, but what could also be put in that benefits the entirety of the game? Because there's a way to design feature sets to be able to appeal to both. We just have to be aligned with what our visions are for the game.
Hold on. With that being said, meaning this whole DDA stuff, which I believe is very much in the game, don't just do it to the casual players, bro. Yeah, I think I don't know if that's what he's saying, but I'm just saying he said for both sides. If you're good at the game, don't cater to some casual player that don't know what the heck they doing, bro. You should want to grind and be better at the game. Let the good players be good players, and let the bad players want to get better at the game. Forget all this bull crap, man. Like I said, I hate that junk. That's what ruined the game. That's why I really stopped playing Madden 18 online. And 17 and 18 were completely trash, bro. 16, everybody hated 16. I don't, pretty much like it too, but at least you can catch the ball in that game, you know what I'm saying? It's just the fact that everybody could catch the ball. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a big part.
Okay. How much time in a given week do you spend just playing the game so you can understand what the average player
so we all want to know. Do they play the game?
I actually spend a lot of time playing. So my schedule is, it's really packed. So I spend probably either from 7 to 9 or 7 to 10 o'clock at night playing.
Yeah, okay.
I have to carve out time to play the game to kind of experience it. We call it dog fooding, right? I'm a big fan. You have to eat your own dog food so that you kind of know what are people experiencing. Every single mode going through it. What are the pain points? What are people complaining about? Because unless you actually go through it and play it, you won't understand it.
Absolutely.
Right? So, I'm looking at 2 to 3 hours a day.
In those 2 to 3 hours a day that you play, what do you personally believe is the thing that most needs attention going forward?
I think it comes down to core gameplay. fundamentally making sure that our game.
Oh my gosh, bro! Thank you so much, man. Let's go. The gameplay is trash. Thank you, bro. Like this dude. Thank you, bro. Like I don't know who this. Well, I know the guy is now, but it's about time, bro. A developer, somebody working at the dang headquarters will stop saying, "Oh, this is the player, bro." Stop blaming the game. The gameplay sucks, bro. We want to play the game. We like Madden, bro. We grew up with it just like he did. But the gameplay is trash. We want to play it because it's football. But you have to go down to the fundamental core gameplay. This dude is a producer and plays it for 2 to 3 hours a day. And literally says the thing about the game is the gameplay itself, bro. That tells you something. This dude produces the game. He came over to help the game, bro. The gameplay is straight trash, bro. Thank you, bro. This dude actually admitted it. That's why I like this guy, bro. Thank you. Because as a community that keep hearing, oh, to keep defending the game, I understand, you know what I'm saying? That may be your baby. But sometimes your baby got to get that, you know what I'm saying? So let's go.
Is solid and feels good. It's responsive. It's, again, you have to maintain the balance between authenticity and gameplay. And sometimes the two don't necessarily mesh. But you have to make sure at the end of the day we're making a game and we're making something that people want to enjoy and it's an entertainment experience, right? So making sure that the controls feel good and are responsive, that you're on offense, your plays are good. On defense, your AI is as good as it potentially can be. And we have a lot of work to do to be able to get it to the point where it's flawless, right? But there's stuff that we're working on to get there. Once we shore that up and we feel like we're good, then we can start looking at additional stuff, right? Cool new ideas and exploring all that.
Yes.
But until we get there,
work on gameplay and then focus on new ideas.
What is your sense of urgency for these fixes? Is it something that is more of a 3 to 5 year plan, or do you feel like this is something that is able to be tackled within 1 to 2 cycles?
Great games take time, right? And in order to be able to actually really look at it, evaluate it, figure out, do an audit and figure out, what's actually working, what's not working, it's longer than a year, dude. I mean, that's the reality of it, right? And I think one of the interesting things is everybody wants everything now, right? And game making is hard. Regardless of what people think, making games is not easy, or else everybody would be doing it, right? Sure. And making a AAA game, high quality game, is even harder, right? So, it is going to be a long-term play. You'll see things that'll happen. You'll see, stuff that's going on in Madden 19 that is a foundation for what we're building and going to be expanding on over the years. But it's not going to happen in one.
What do you view as the foundation going into Madden 19?
Well, so let's back it up a little bit and talk about Madden 18. So Madden 18 was a big transition year with the Frostbite engine, right? And Frostbite gave us this amazing visual fidelity, right? So if you look at stills of the game, you're like, man, is that real footage or is that the game? It's very hard to tell.
It looks great.
But one of the big things that we noticed was that the movement was not up to par, right? It was something that was an immersion breaker. So the glitches or the way the ragdoll physics kicked in on tackles sometimes.
Yes, bro.
Right. So moving into 19, the next step is, okay, how do we get animation quality, the visual movement of the players?
Yeah, stop going through guys'
body. On par with the visual quality, right? To make it start to feel that much better, right? Because there's just nothing better than having a very responsive, fluid movement that looks amazing.
I think that that's a great answer because in the past, a lot of players in general have had pain points where they say, it feels like sometimes the animation takes over the control that I have to put in. Right. So with that initiative going forward, I think that that's a foundation that needs to be laid before they can go forward.
Yeah, and I talk a little bit about, when I talk about responsiveness and control, there's that balance between making it look authentic and real and control and gameplay. Right, so you have to have a good mix of those two. It can't go one way or the other, right?
Thank you, bro.
You'll see, some games, you'll have responsiveness, but it feels odd, right? You're like, I'm moving and it feels fast, but I don't have that immersion that goes along with that, right? So maintaining that balance is extremely important.
You mentioned players first mentality. Can you go into detail on that?
I think it ties into a lot of things, right? Number one is being more transparent with the community about what we're doing. Being able to provide, dev diaries on here are the features that we're working on. Talking a lot about that and getting input from the community about, hey, this is a really cool feature. I want to know more about it. Okay, well, here's kind of a deep dive into how we're approaching it and philosophically from a design standpoint.
Yes, actual features, not. Oh, let's make a big patch that's like 2 gigabytes to put in fake coaches, bro. Or let's work on the field goals and kicking nets. That's some stupid stuff, bro. Actually work on the game itself, bro. I have never played a Madden, bro, except for this. Madden 17 was the worst Madden of all time. Madden 18, I have never played a Madden where I just dropped the ball so much that I really just why would they do that, bro? I understand people was mad about 16. But in real life, more wide receivers that's getting paid millions of dollars to catch the ball are not just going to drop the ball. When you have guys like Megatron and Randy Moss dropping the ball, that's just dumb, man. I understand they're going to drop the ball, say every now and then. But the fact that everybody and their mama drops the ball is just ridiculous. You might as well can go out there with a bronze card or something, man.
Standpoint, how we're thinking about it, right? Because I think a lot of people don't really know the process of, when it comes to here's an idea that we have, and from the ideation of it to completion, just actually what's involved, right? Because like I told you, game making is really hard, and sometimes when you get suggestions that come from the community, it's like, oh, that should be simple. It should be easy to make that change. Yeah, but then when you evaluate that and you realize, hey, if we implement this change, all of these other dependencies are in the chain, and it breaks all of these things. You have to make that decision. Is it worth going down that path to do that?
They patch stuff that shouldn't be patched.
Is it worth doing that, or would we be better off spending our pennies fixing something else or addressing something else, right? It's a challenge, and it is a challenge, but the more transparent that we can be and the more upfront we can be with people about how our process works and how we think about things, I think the better off we're going to be. And that's part of being players first. The other thing is in live service is fixing major issues quickly when they come up, right? Yeah. Polishing quality. Quality is important. Polish, quality, also part of being players first, right? Yeah. And then when you're making decisions, it's all about the player and it's all about the game, right? You have to.
Thank you, bro.
If you really want to make a great AAA game, that's what it's all about.
You mentioned the players quite a bit, but at the same time, I think a lot of people in the community understand that EA is a publicly traded company. Mm-hmm. How do you balance the needs of your players versus the needs of your shareholders?
Well, they're the same, right? If you make a great game and people love it, shareholders are going to be happy, right? That's what it comes down to. If your game is terrible, nobody's going to want to play it, and then your shareholders are going to be very unhappy. But if you are constantly focused on the player base and making the game better, then people are going to tell their friends. They're going to reach out. Social media is going to explode because, hey, this game is amazing.
And that's why I'm making this video, because I actually like what this dude got to say.
Right? High quality, high polished game. Lots of focus on the player base. Lots of focus on the community. There you go. It's out there.
As a Madden player, what is your favorite mode to play?
That's a tough one because I love Ultimate Team. I'm a big collector, right? So being able to to get my team at the highest OBR is a challenge, right? Yeah. But I also really I like sitting down and having fun with my son to play now. Let me just play a couple teams and just enjoy myself, right? And I think that's one of the best parts of Madden is you can play a bunch of different ways, right? It appeals to a multiple group of people. I like franchise too because it's the ultimate football fantasy.
Sure.
But if I had to have a preference, it would probably be Ultimate Team or Play Now.
When you play Ultimate Team, do you immerse yourself?
And the reason why that is because that's what they put more focus on nowadays. Back then, it was franchise. Mostly it was franchise. It was game. Well, I don't know if it was gameplay or not, but nowadays, but it was mainly franchise. But now it seems like all they care about is Ultimate Team. I know this year we got long shot and stuff like that. But even in long shot, you got rewards for Madden Ultimate Team. So I like Ultimate Team a lot. But like you said, it comes down to gameplay, bro. The game is not fun if you can't freaking play the game. The modes could be great all they want. It's an idea. But if the gameplay is not fun, what's the whole point of playing those game modes?
And the grind that the casual Ultimate Team player goes through, or is it more of a situation where you're testing out some of the top end content? How are you able to kind of put yourself on that level with the average player?
I think I'm a big, so I have never been a fan of skipping anything, right? So if I'm going to start something, it's from the beginning. I don't really like to fast forward to a spot in a game.
That's
so
what
for me,
when
it's
you buy
about going
packs,
through
though.
that
If you
experience,
think about
the same experience that our players are going to go through, I go through.
Sure.
Right, because that's the only way that you can effectively evaluate a mode or an area of the game, right, and have an opinion on it, right? Because if you don't do that, then how can you judge?
So you mentioned that you like to play from the ground floor up. Do you feel that this year in general, there has been a slightly vocal minority that views that it does feel somewhat pay to play for
I just said that.
Where
let's go.
Players are able to kind of be better by spending money. Do you feel do you agree with that, or do you feel that, what is your stance?
Yeah, what you think?
I mean, I think, like I said, I think there's just a couple of different ways to play, right? Some people choose, to go down that card collecting route where they that's their enjoyment and that's what they get value out of, right?
Sure.
And that's why we offer multiple other ways to play. Like if you want to play through franchise, it doesn't cost you anything; it's just time. Or play now, where I'm just casually wanting to play one of my favorite teams. So it's not about that, right? It's about how, as a player, you choose to play and how you want to engage with the game. I think it ties in more with, one of the things
he
that
kind of
I
does that
a lot of is,
that's my only problem with his interviews so far. He does that.
It's all about Ultimate Team. The focus is all about that, and it's
can't really blame him.
It's not really, right? I mean, when you think about it, franchise. There are things that are put in for franchise, but it's never enough, right? Everybody in franchise has different wants and different needs, even within the groups, right? And so what would be put in for one person or one segment doesn't appeal to the other segment within that same area, right? That being said, 19 is a very balanced year, right? So we're giving love to every part of the game, and moving forward, it's going to be more like that, right?
Yes.
Where we do recognize that there are people that play multiple ways in one game, and so how are we going to constantly keep providing them that, the innovation or just updates to make them feel like, hey, yeah, there's this thing is evolving, it's living, right? Because as we move into live services, it's all about that, right? What kind of content, how often do we provide it to keep people engaged in the game?
For players that want to branch out from their comfort level, maybe I'm a CFM player that wants to branch into Ultimate Team. How do you make the game feel similar? Obviously, with Ultimate Team, you're dealing with players that are slightly rated higher than what you would see in CFM. What do you do to make the modes fundamentally seem?
Well, I think honestly that's up to design, right? Designing the proper. I mean, at the fundamental core of everything, it's gameplay, right? And making sure that the gameplay feels consistent across all of the modes. And then once you have
which it really doesn't this year at all.
Then you can start playing with other things. Like, hey, we're going to experiment with chemistries over here and archetypes in this area. But as long as there's a way for people to kind of be familiar on the sticks with how the game works, then we're good, right? Then it'll be easier for people to go back and forth between modes.
You mentioned fundamentals on the sticks. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that Madden is a game that is very difficult to grasp currently? And if so, how do you make it easier for the core?
Not anymore.
It's all about the player journey, and I think that's one of the things that we can improve on. So when I first come into the game, where do I go, right? And how do I progress? Like, is there a way for me as a player who maybe hasn't played in a while to go on this journey where I slowly start remembering?
Yeah, the game is easier now,
right?
So
because
if
you stop playing Madden for a couple of years, you come back, you're like, wait a minute, how do I do? I can't. It's challenging to remember how to get back into it and play it. So I think part of that is us taking a look at the player journey and figuring out how can we ramp somebody up to where they start feeling really good at every pace, at every level, and get rewarded for that, right? Until they fully grasp the strategy.
Nowadays, you don't have to have none of that, bro. So all you need to know is cover for a drop, pitch, and wham, and you can win every single freaking game. And that's what I hate about Madden 18. I understand YouTube is a big factor nowadays. Dudes selling ebooks and all of that, bro. I respect the ground with the whole ebook stuff, but it's kind of killing the game, bro. But the fact that that's still based off the gameplay. If you allow your game to be able to just do the same stuff over and over, that's their fault, bro. And it's kind of effed up because when you play somebody on, they don't care about that. They don't care if they trash or not, bro. All they care about is winning the game. I don't know how they have fun with that, but that's all they care about. So
strategy. I have a buddy of mine that hadn't played Madden before, and so I said, dude, do me a favor, please play Madden, and I kind of want you to give me your feedback, right? And he starts playing. He started with Long Shot, and he played through Long Shot. He's like, yeah, this is really cool. It's Telltale like story game. I like it. But then he went into Ultimate Team, and he's like, man, this is like Pokemon. This is like a card collecting game. This is really cool and fun. Then he got to franchise, and he goes, you know what? He goes, franchise is where I really learned how to play football. And I go, well, tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what did you learn? He's all, well, going through the practice. You know, it kind of showed me at a very base level how I could play. And then I started the season, and then I'm progressing through it. And the aha moment of it all was when I recognized the defense, and I knew that the offensive play was going that I called was going to open up this wide receiver for me, and I executed it. And I'm like, there you go. You got the magic of what it is.
Real fundamentals, yeah.
So how can we get more people to recognize that magic and to be proficient with it, right? And it ties into that player journey, right? So we need to take a look at, you know, what does our onboarding look like? You know, how do we teach the sport, right? Madden was a big fan of that, right? I mean, that's one of the whole reasons why he put his name on this, was to teach football.
You're coach.
Right? And when, you know, I was lucky and fortunate enough to talk to him last year, you know, and he still believes in it, right? He's like, there are ways that we can actually teach football.
And so I did learn a lot from playing Madden over the years.
Philosophy of it and apply it to our game. And we're going to work on that.
But obviously, you know, as a Falcons fan, I think in the second half, the Patriots started running cover for a drop on my Falcons, bro. And that's how they won the game. You know what I'm saying? Our offense couldn't score at all in the second half. So that's probably why cover for a drop is so OP in this game, because that's what the Patriots ran in the Super Bowl. So there go.
So you mentioned that aha moment that Madden players have. I think that's definitely the story for most players that first get into the game and then stick with the title going forward. Certainly was for me. You talk about Madden and what type of impact does he have on the game when you speak?
I want to know that too.
Giving him your creative vision.
Yeah. So like I said, we're very fortunate that we go and we talk to Madden every year, and we.
I want to see him play the game, man.
You know, and he definitely has input into, you know, what our approach actually is, and it's really interesting because, you know, he still talks about teaching the sport, getting more people to appreciate the sport of football. And when we were sitting there with him, he's got this amazing setup, by the way. You know, watching football on Sunday with Madden it's like a life-changing experience, right? But, you know, we're sitting there and we're talking with them, and you know, one of the women in the group who came with us, she asked him a question, and she says, you know, what do you think about females, you know, and understanding football, women understanding football? And he's like, women are incredible at football. And so he started telling this story, and he says, you know, I used to teach a course, and the course was on football. And he said, some of my best students ended up being women, and I'll tell you why. And he says, because when men come in, they have this preconceived notion of what football is, and they think they know football.
Women listen to a lot of detail.
And women come in, they have nothing. It's a clean slate, so they are more willing to understand the concepts. And I take it through from a very simple, here's how to run, here's how to pass, here's how defense works, and they start grasping it, right? So how do we take that, right, when he's trying to teach, and infuse that into the game, right, so that more people who want to play the game have a really good understanding of football? I think that is the magic, right? That's what it comes down to, is that you start off with the fundamentals and the basics, and then you start evolving and seeing what the actual strategy is, right? And you just get it, right?
I think that you touched on a great thing there. You said, you know, trying to lay the foundation. We talked about that from animation quality, but in terms of teaching the game, I think
all you gotta do is run for a drop.
Would say that it's been a struggle over the last few years. Skills trainer, maybe just communication in general. When you're adding more football concepts into the game, how do you do that? How do you pass that on to the Madden players?
But they got skills trainers, like you just said. But
yeah, and I think
it don't matter.
It's trying to figure out what the progression looks like, right? From I'm a player, I have a certain level of skill, and then how can I advance through a game and be rewarded, and at the same time learn, right? Because skills trainer will only get you so far, right? If you don't understand the concepts of why you're doing something, then it's difficult, right? You're just going through motion.
I mean, it helped me out with the readout. I admit that.
Why I'm doing this.
I admit that.
that's the challenge. How do we give them the why? Why do I do this? How do I do this against a certain, call this play against a certain defense? What's the impact going to be of that, right? When people finally get it, it's that aha moment, right? We need to get them there. And that's by providing a really good player journey for them to go on so that they feel like they've accomplished something. So we're going to work on that, and that's.
I want to see cover for a drop on the cover of Madden 19
more and more
on the regular edition
over the coming years.
What have you accomplished in your first 9 months that you're most proud
of? Well, I'm actually proud of a lot of things, right? I'm proud of the fact that I've gotten to get a good team together, right? I think that's one of the big parts of it. Without a really good core team, you're not going to have a great game. Making sure that everybody's very passionate about the game that they're working on, because it's that passion that drives you to go that extra mile.
I don't know if you're part of the team or not, but I know he's still on the team.
Tiny quality touches that people notice. I want people to feel that we make a great game, right?
Yes.
Like the people behind this game feel passionately about it, and it shows in the game that they're making.
I want to see that too, because I feel like y'all don't care, bro.
Everybody here is aligned, and this is what we want to do, right? And you'll see it. You'll see it.
Hopefully, man.
From Ben Bro to Jeff Kaplan, Blizzard has set a high standard with their communication and their transparency. That's something you touched on a little bit. What is your plan for the communication and transparency? I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, but is there, I guess, a blueprint that you're going to follow that you maybe followed at Blizzard?
A lot of it is use of the community. What you noticed at Blizzard was that there was a huge focus on that. You would have a lot of our community team were the front line,
and not just
and people got to know them and respect them. And for me, bringing Guerrero more into the design discussions early on,
thank you,
so he can get a better sense of what it is that we're making, and then how would we effectively communicate that to the community. And then the game changer programs, I think, are extremely important. Like you guys being able to come to us and talk to us, and us showing you things that we're thinking about working on and getting feedback. I think a lot of those things are things that I learned in my past life at Blizzard that I want to carry on and really expand on, right? Because I think that's how we get to making great games. It's a community experience, right?
It's all about the community.
And the community has so many backgrounds. I think that's one of those things with the Game Changer program, is that many people out there seem to think that
hold on.
players that are...
Hold on. The whole Game Changer program is a good idea. But what's bad about it is they flag them out before the game is released. So they're telling us good things about the game before it's released. They're like, oh my gosh, this is good, this is great. Just like they did last year. They were like, you know what? Only thing they got to work on is the zones. That's all they said about this year. Only thing they have to fix is the zones. That's all they asked for. That's all they asked for. That's all everybody was saying when the Game Changers came out with their videos. That's the only thing they had to fix. Next thing you know, day one, because I got the game, I think a week early at GameStop because I had ordered the Gold Edition, the pre-ordered Gold Edition. The game was amazing the first week. Day one, they patched it into obliteration, bro. Like, the game was straight. Well, it wasn't horrible at day one, but you can feel like they were on the wrong path. And so it was good to know that that the dude, you know what I'm saying, he cares, bro.
Great players at the game or in the Game Changer program, or maybe.
But the
Game
Changer, but the Game Changer stuff sucks because that's what they're playing. So right when they leave EA, it seemed like they just F up the game. Like, oh yeah, let's fix the zones, but then they want to patch something else and bring in morph tackles. Because I promise y'all, when the game first came out, morph tackles, warp tackles, all of that bullshit was in the game. The game was actually fun, and it was on the pace of being one of the best probably the best Madden of all time. I even said that. I'm like, yo, this is the best Madden. It's a lot of fun. On the warp tackles, people were catching the ball a little bit more. Well, actually, it was realistic. And then when they started patching it, they messed up the spin move. They messed up, a whole bunch of stuff. Dudes going through guys' bodies. It was ridiculous, man.
Highest level or spend the most money or part of the Game Changer program. I think it really is kind of a melting pot of all the different backgrounds of Madden. And, when I first got into the program, it was a drastically different thing than what it is now. When I got in, it was a lot of players that were simulation background, right. And competitive really wasn't on the forefront. Until Peter Moore came in and kind of introduced that initiative. And then it kind of started to bring a little bit of everyone together. So I think that the Game Changer program in general is something that
J Music.
while it has been around for a while, I think it's really evolving into something new. And honestly, it's such a key part of, even though we're not employed here, it is a part of the development process. Right. Did you guys have something like that at Blizzard, or was it?
There was, but it was more of the design group had a group of people that they trusted that were part of the community that they relied on.
More shots fired. The dude is literally saying he had people in place that actually gave an F, bro. And then now he's like, you know what I'm saying? We actually had people that cared about the game, not people that just like, oh, let me just put something out and not really realize what they put out. That's basically what he's saying. I can see it in his face. I can read people. I'm trying to tell you, that's exactly what he's saying, bro. He's trying to be nice about it. But he's saying they actually cared about the damn game. Nowadays, they don't seem like he cares. Or they care. So he put his own team together, bro. You know what I'm saying? For people that actually care about the damn game. So that's good to know. That's basically what he's saying. I don't care what you know what I'm saying, what people think about that. That's what he said. These motherfuckers don't care, and that's why everybody's saying they needed to clean house. And so he got his team together, so let's see how it goes.
And, you know, we're willing to give feedback. It wasn't it wasn't like this, right, where it's an official game.
Yeah, see, I told y'all it wasn't like this, bro. Like this bull junk at EA Sports, bro. The dude came. Oh my gosh, bro. See, I like this guy, bro. The dude literally said it wasn't like this, where they just don't give a F, bro, and they just bring out content and let people be mad about it and say, oh, we're gonna do something about it, and then don't do nothing about it. This dude Carlos Guerrero, man, I like him, bro. Let's go, man. I don't know if he with the Guerrero family, but shout out to Eddie, bro. Shout out to all of them, bro. Vicky, let's go, man. Oh shoot! Oh my gosh. Where I was at?
You know, and had those little tiny quality touches that people know.
Oh shoot! Where I was at, bro? Where I was at?
I think many would say that it's been a struggle over the last few years.
That's what it comes down to, is that, you know, you start off with the fundamentals and the basics, and then you start evolving and seeing what the actual strategy is, right? And it gets, and you just get.
Oh shoot!
Right?
I don't know where I was at.
I think that you touched on a great thing there. You said, you know, trying to lay the foundation. We talked about that from animation quality, but in terms of teaching the game, I think many would say that it's been a struggle over the last few years. Skills trainer,
understand the concepts of why you're doing something. When people finally get it, it's that aha moment, right? We need
where I was at, bro.
Over the coming years.
What have you accomplished in your first 9 months?
Game that they're working on, because it's that passion that drives you to go that extra mile, you know, and add those little tiny quality touches that people notice. I want people to feel that we make a great game, right?
All right, cool. I'm sorry.
This game, feel passionately about it, and it shows. In the
I'll leave it from this point. That's what I remember.
That's what I'm proud of, because everybody here is aligned, and this is what we want to do, right? And you'll
I meant to press the pause button, but I pressed the 0-0.
From Ben Bro to Jeff Kaplan, Blizzard has set a high standard.
There we go. That's what we did.
With their communication and their transparency. That's something you touched on a little bit. What is
communication is not good.
The communication and transparency. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, but is there, you know, I guess a blueprint that you're going to follow that you maybe followed at Blizzard?
A lot of it is use of the community. What you noticed at Blizzard was that there was a huge focus on that. You would have a lot of our community team were the front line.
This is funny. I like this guy. People got to know
them and respect them. And you know, for me, bringing Cralo more into the design discussions early on, so he can get a better sense of, you know, what it is that we're making, and then how would we effectively communicate that to the community. And then the game changer programs, I think, are extremely important. Like you guys being able to come to us and talk to us, and us showing you things that we're thinking about working on and getting feedback. I think a lot of those things are things that I learned in my past life at Blizzard that I want to carry on and really expand on, right? Because I think that's how we get to making great games. It's a community experience, right?
And the community has so many backgrounds. I think that's one of those things with the Game Changer program, is that many people out there seem to think that only players that are great players at the game are in the Game Changer program, or, you know, maybe those that only play MUT at the highest level or spend the most money are part of the Game Changer program. I think it really is kind of a melting pot of all the different backgrounds of Madden. And, you know, when I first got into the program, it was a drastically different thing than what it is now. When I got in, it was a lot of players that were simulation background, and competitive really wasn't on the forefront.
Basing
until Peter Moore
crazy.
came in and kind of introduced that
Sony
initiative.
Platinum, bro.
And then it kind of started to bring a little bit of everyone together. So I think that the Game Changer program in general is something that, while it has been around for a while, I think it's really evolving into something new.
I don't know what that was.
And honestly, it's such a key part of, even though we're not employed here, it is a part of the development process. Right. Did you guys have something like that at Blizzard, or was it?
There was, but it was more of the design group had a group of people that they trusted that were part of the community that they relied on, and were willing to give feedback. It wasn't like this, right, where it's an official Game Changer program.
Sure.
But it was people who were very passionate about the game, who had a deep understanding of the game and could give very critical feedback that was in a very
own type
way.
team.
Because not everybody can deliver that. A lot of people want to give feedback and it's very like, oh, you broke this, or you did this, or screw you, you did this. But it's not of, hey, here's what I see that's fundamentally
and I would
not
love
working,
to say that,
and here's how we can make it better. That's the kind of feedback that we're looking for.
Hey, look,
right, and I want to work with.
I can give both of those type of feedbacks. You know what I'm saying? Only reason why I say it like that, because it's frustrating, bro. The community wants a great game, and when we say, "Oh, guys, can you fix this?" They be like, "Oh, bro, there's nothing wrong with it, bro." They become that us, bro. And I don't have no Twitter, but I be seeing they be blasting us. They be like, "Oh, bro, you gotta get better at the game." Like, and even if you watch the freaking tournaments in the commentary, bro, they be trying to kiss the game's butt, bro. They was like, "Oh, that wasn't the game, bro. That was his fault." Oh, he said he possession catch, but it didn't possession catch. He was like, "Oh, well, he didn't press the button." He said he pressed the button, bro. It just didn't work because that's how the gameplay is, bro. It's not his fault that he held aggressive catch or he went to possession catch and the dude kept racking it. You know what I'm saying? That ain't his fault. But they be like, "Oh, well, he didn't do it, bro. That wasn't the game." You know what I'm saying? Just stuff like that.
With Cralo to expand the Game Changer program, right? We need different demographics.
Let me be a game changer, bro.
We're the under 20s that are currently playing our game. We're the women that are playing our game, right?
Yeah.
Because Madden is
There's two of them I know about.
Right. We should have all of these other people represented, right? Giving their viewpoints to make our game better.
Is there something that you haven't touched on that you want to touch on? Because I want to make sure that this is kind of your first opportunity to speak to the community. Is there something that we haven't hit on?
I mean, for me, it's just kind of under. I want the community to understand that we're going to make change. Things are going to happen for the better. We're going to deliver a higher quality game, but it's going to take time. Like, that's the reality of it, right?
That's all I want them to admit, bro.
Everybody's like, oh,
stop kissing the game,
it's going to happen in the next week or 2 weeks. No, man. Like I said, great games take time, and it's going to take us time. This is a battleship, right? Madden is a 30-year-old game that's delivered consistently year over year, right? If we want to take it.
And all we're asking is take steps forward, not steps back. Because Madden 15, you started to see that jump was like, bro, this game is trash, bro. Madden 12 was the best Madden ever freaking made. I don't care what nobody say. Madden 12 was the gold standard, bro. The animations in that game were way better than any animation in Madden 18. Madden 16 had some cool animations. It was just too much, you know what I'm saying? It was fun to play, but it was just too much and ridiculous. But Madden 12, those animations were so good, man. I'm talking about, even though they had the rocket catch in that game, but the animation were flawless. The ball carrying moves were flawless. If they literally add pass trajectories that they have in Madden 18 and put them in like a Madden 12 format, that would be the best Madden game ever, bro.
Get to the future, it's going to take time to change it, right? That's the
year to use
Madden 12. As long as we have a very good team, we have a great Game Changer program.
Madden 18 was a year of drop
being
picks.
More inclusive in pulling people in, we'll be successful.
A year of drop catching in general.
It's not just the development team. It's not just us. It's funny. Blizzard had a saying. It takes a Blizzard to make a Blizzard game. So we need to find out what that equivalent is for Madden. And
it takes a drop ball
I believe
to
that.
drop
It's
the ball
everybody.
in the game.
All of us together are making this game great, right? Not just us.
Not just the development team, not just the studio, the community as well.
Right.
Yes.
So you talked about transparency in the community. I think that's been a hot button topic in the past is, what can the community be told from the development team? Can you deep dive a little bit more into what you guys can do?
You said development.
So one of the big things for me is, making sure that we really fully expand, or actually not even expand, it's actually create a dev diary series, right? Where I was listening, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Developers
as they're working on features. and kind of going a little bit into detail on what it is that's happening and why we're thinking about things, right? Because I touch on the idea of like people don't understand reasoning behind why something happens, right? So if you talk about that and then you talk about the feature set, it gives people perspective, right? And that's something that people don't have right
Tell
now,
us
right? So it's
what you
just
about
assuming,
to
hey,
where
they
you
just
just
did this because of X, right? When there's really a lot of thought that goes in behind something, right? A lot of consideration, and bringing that more to the forefront so that people understand why we do something as opposed to guessing and speculating, right? And when you do that and you're genuine about it, people respect that.
Carlos, thank you so much. Thank you for welcoming me into your office, being able to ask questions for the community.
All right, guys. All I got to say is, based off of what this guy is saying, I'm truly, truly excited for freaking Madden 19, man. I don't know what the heck they was doing before, but I like this guy's energy. I like the fact that he literally seems like he cares, that he has a Blizzard background. Even though I'm not a WoW guy, I'm a RuneScape guy, you know what I'm saying? But the dude actually seems like he cares about the game, bro. And this interview alone made me excited about Madden 19. Yesterday, like I said, I was hyped, bro. When I watched the 6 minutes, I know it's kind of early today. I kind of just woke up. But I'm letting you know, bro, based off of what this dude is saying, bro. And it's a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? You can see certain people that you just like, man, I don't like that guy, you know what I'm saying? But I actually like this dude, bro. He cool, man. And I'm really excited to see what Madden 19 is gonna hold. I like Terrell Owens. I'm glad he on the cover. I will begin the Hall of Fame edition, and it's cool they finally made up. And probably I think Chad Ochocinco had something to do. I think he had something to do with getting T.O. back in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because Ochocinco was in the game this year. But I hope both of them in the game. I have Batman and Robin on my team, bro. With hopefully Brett Favre or Kurt Warner or something like that at quarterback or something. I don't know, bro. Matty Ice or something. I don't know. But anyway, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. I hope this video recorded right. And shoot, bro. Like I said, I'm excited, man. I'm glad the fact that somebody, I'm glad it's a producer saying that he know the game is not good, bro. The base of the game sucks, but he's not gonna say it like that. And the main thing they gotta fix is the gameplay, the core gameplay itself. Stop kissing the games, but I'm glad he said he got a team they're working on, that he actually got people in the community that's reaching out to us and stop, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really appreciate that. That's all I want. If I say the game sucks, I'm not saying it because I don't like Madden, bro. I want the game to be better, bro, and that's the thing. But over the years, it seemed like they got out of touch with their fans and they got their own agenda. But guess what? The fans is how they get money in their pockets, bro. So, yeah, man. So, all right, y'all. I'm out, bro. If y'all want more reactions, bro, I got y'all. Since I know how to do it now, hopefully. So, see y'all in the next video, man. I'm out.